I got a point a couple days ago where I was like, I'm not talking about this Sebastian Rogers case anymore because I feel like it's all for money. It's all for show. It's a big circus at this point. Drama, drama, drama. A lot of the creators that are talking about this case are trying to step back and get away from it because it's just too much going on. And it's to the point where I think just about everybody agrees. No wonder Sebastian left. No, I mean, a lot of us are like, it's overwhelming. We don't want anything to do with any of this because it's overwhelming. You can only imagine how Sebastian felt being stuck in the middle of these parents constantly fighting. But everything is starting to look really suspicious. Like you have all these YouTubers coming out that now all of a sudden it's coming out that they were at Nina's trial for custody, that they were witnesses. Trevor Lee, allegedly maybe Smiley was there. And these people are inserting themselves like into the investigation and into these family lives, affecting a child's life to where they're testifying and trying to be witnesses at a court hearing, allegedly. And they're YouTubers who don't even know this family. They don't know this family from Adam other than what they're reporting on. And, you know, the person comes on their show and does one interview and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can testify as a witness in a custody case. And there's a lot of other creators that are coming out that are pissed about this because this is totally unprofessional, total breach of professionalism. It's a huge red flag. Like, this is starting to look like one big orchestrated money grab plot for Nina to get custody of Faith. Like, there's a lot going on here where it looks like there's a lot of plotting and orchestrating within a group of people. Tony has this video that comes out where he's like, I've got the first tape of the Amber Alert when it originally came out. Ironically, it's been months and nobody's heard this as of yet until now, and Tony finds it. Anybody else find it odd that this is the only audio of talking about some reward? It was like his spidey senses went straight for it. Reward?
You're ready?
Yep, we're ready. Tee it up.
Broadcasting live at US.Watch to help find Sebastian Rogers. He was abducted by unknown suspect, possibly in an unknown vehicle. Carefully navigate to your assigned watch zone and check in to claim your reward at US.Watch/Find Sebastian. Do not trespass or confront a suspect. To report a sighting or any suspicious activity, call 911 or tap the phone button. Stay tuned in to this broadcast at US.Watch/Find Sebastian to get the latest information and search instructions pertaining to this alert. I'm going to let Deputy Phillips take it from here.
Did y'all notice when they mention the reward money, he starts nodding his head yes?
Carefully navigate to your assigned watch zone and check in to claim your reward at US.Watch/Find Sebastian. Do not...
Oh, I saw that little hot head nod. Yep, like yeah, I'm going to collect that reward. I could see that was... But I got some questions for the Justice Warriors. So they come out on May 10th and they talk about they've been put in a bad situation. They're worried about their license because there's been some audio that was leaked, that was in their possession, that was confidential. And they say that they didn't breach any confidentiality because they didn't leak the information. Seth leaked it, right? They said their client leaked it. So it's my understanding that my client shared it with someone who leaked it. Okay, so that's her understanding, which is like basically her way of covering her ass because she doesn't know. Or she knows that that ain't true. One or the other. That's my opinion. When you start putting stuff like that in there, it's to like cover your ass in case this information is not true. It should be known that I didn't send it to my client because I was afraid that it would create more chaos and distract further from finding Sebastian. However, my client made a request for the audio to one of the people I did share it with, and they didn't see a reason to withhold it from him. So who is that person that she shared it with? And are they under the confidentiality agreement? Because she says she shared it to somebody who wasn't her client, but that person gave it to her client. So then she goes in a couple days ago or yesterday, whenever, she goes into a timeline of how the leaked audio occurred. Okay, so let's look at this timeline. Okay, so number one, the audio was recorded on May 1st. On that day, I forwarded it to my assistants and two trusted colleagues, as well as Chloe's colleague. She was busy at the time and forwarded it to her. And the reason for this was to make sure that Chloe was aware of the situation and to consult with the team about whether or not it needed to be reported to LE. Who is Chloe's colleague? No name is mentioned here. Hugely defensive on why she did it, though. which makes me think that that's a key person. Number 2 is I never sent the audio to Seth. If I had, I would say that, but I didn't. So going back to her other statement, she said that she gave it to somebody who then gave it to Seth. So she didn't release it to her client. She released it to somebody else, who I'm again wondering if this person, if it's not her client and not part of her team, then did she in fact breach confidentiality? So then she skips to May 9th. So she goes from May 1st to May 9th. I want to see what happened in between these two dates because I feel like there's kind of a big gap there. So to fill in some of the missing pieces, we're going to go over to the custody court case docket and see what it says there. Well, we went from May 1st to May 9th, okay? So let's fill in the gaps here. On May 2nd, a witness list was amended and an exhibit list was entered. Is this when the audio was given to the courts? The exhibit list, the audio, and the witness list being Trevor Lee and Smiley? Is that what that is? Because this is a court hearing on a child custody case. There's no visitors allowed. Either you're a witness or you ain't fucking coming. So these people were going to testify as witnesses on behalf of Nina against Christopher Proudfoot. Their whole motive was to make Christopher look bad. On the 6th, affidavit of service, subpoena Deuces Tecum to Officer and Cordova. Affidavit of service, subpoena Deuces Tecum. And again on the 7th, a witness list, another witness list. So here you got a second witness list coming in on the 7th. Again, this is all before the 9th. So is that a second witness? So now you got witness here, and then an exhibit list, all entered in before the 9th. Now, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that it was somewhere in this gap between the 1st and the 9th that both Chloe and Heather were asked to step down, just to cover their asses, I'm sure. And then skipping to May 9th, I received a text message informing me that the audio had leaked. The details that I had at that time were minimal, and the person that I was told had leaked the call was not the first to leak it. What I learned later was that there were several YouTubers who had been sent the audio a few days prior and asked to hold on to it until that day. The reason for this, as I understand it, was that the audio was to be used as evidence at a court hearing, and whoever sent it to the YouTubers did not want it getting out prior to the court date. So number 4, after the audio was leaked, I got to work trying to figure out how it leaked to be sure that I didn't have a mole in my camp. I even went back through my sent emails to be sure I hadn't sent it to Seth or anyone else that I had forgotten about. I did not. I did not know that Seth had the audio until he called me and told me that he had sent it to Nina for court. That was when he told me that it was his fault that the call leaked. I did not ask how he got it because it didn't matter. I was just relieved that there was not a breach of confidentiality from someone that I had trusted. But this is where I'm confused because she already said that she didn't give it to Seth. She gave it to somebody else who gave it to a bunch of YouTubers first. And then Seth comes out and says, oh, no, I did that. Really? Really? Because she didn't give it to Seth. She gave it to somebody else who gave it to Seth. Tony? A couple of days after the leak, I had conversations with Tony in which he apologized. He informed me that Seth had expressed that he wanted the audio and that neither I or Chloe would send it to him. Tony said he didn't see any reason to withhold it from him. Now remember, if we go back to the original post, she gave it to somebody who didn't see any reason to keep it from Seth. She gave it to Tony, which means she breached her confidentiality and gave it to Tony. Tony's not a part of her team. Or is he? Does he work for the Justice Warriors? Is Tony part of her team? Or is he not? So she gives it to Tony, who gives it to all these YouTubers, who give it to for Nina's court case and for evidence. And then Seth comes in and says, oh no, I did all that. But he wasn't the one who she gave it to. So Tony says he thought it was cute that Chloe and I were trying to protect him, but that he felt Seth should have it. He also said that Michaela, is that Chloe's assistant, was there and called out, just send it to my email. He was on speakerphone and that's what he did. Technically, it was